thunder of jets in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful...
A loop, a whirl, and a vertical climb, and once again you'll know it's time for the adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and friends.
Starring that supersonic speedster, Rocket J. Squirrel, with his pal Bullwinkle the Moose, and a host of others.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
Wave to the people!
Yay!
Now what are you doing?
Sign an autograph. Let's see. John Smith.
But your name is Bullwinkle.
I know, but that's hard to spell.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. Come on and join us.
Sure, there's always room for one more.
This small island in the Aegean Sea was a decisive factor in the outcome of World War II. The island was called Abalone. On July 22nd, 1943, 5 gigantic cannons were brought to the island. It wasn't long before they were bombarding every spot on the globe, generally causing a terrible nuisance. What you're about to see is an account of how these fearsome leviathans were silenced. This is the story of the Guns of Abalone.
Send Captain Schneider in here.
I am Captain Schneider, General.
Well, you certainly got here fast. Schneider, form a group of commandos and destroy those guns the narrator was talking about.
To hear is to obey.
Thus came about the formation of Schneider's Raiders. To make a short story even shorter, Schneider's Raiders accomplished what they set out to do. The guns of Abalone were silenced, but not forever. 18 years later, a reunion was held on the second floor of a one-store building. Captain Schneider, older and wiser, proposed a toast to his comrades.
So drink, chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug. So drink, chug-a-lug.
Include me out, Captain.
What's wrong, Crenshaw? Are you driving tonight?
No, it's them headlines in the paper.
And there in black pica were the words, Guns of Abalone, renew firing.
The paper's wrong.
The paper was right. A worldwide appeal was launched for volunteers to destroy the cannons once and for all. Alas, not one volunteer stepped forward.
Hokey smoke, Bullwinkle. We're out of milk. One of us has got to run down to the store.
Leave it to me, Rock. I'll go.
Wouldn't you know it, those last two words, I'll go, were overheard by a newspaper reporter who relayed them to his editor, who relayed them to a linotype machine, who relayed them to page 1 of the Frostbite Falls Flyer.
Read all about it. Bullwinkle says he'll go.
Is it true, Bullwinkle? You're going to Abalone?
Oh, I never shop at Abalone's. Too crowded, you know. I always buy my groceries at the J&T.
You don't understand, Bullwinkle. Somehow or other, when you said you'd go, everyone assumed you'd volunteer to go to an island in the Aegean Sea.
What's wrong with the milk in this country?
It took Rocky the better part of the night to explain what had happened. In fact, he was still explaining about a jet airliner bound for Europe.
And if those cannons aren't taken care of, they could blow up the world.
What's that got to do with the price of milk?
We've nothing better to do, so let's jump ahead of our heroes to their eventual destination. Now, the island of Abalone isn't very large, yet the cannons are not easily discernible. That's because they are camouflaged. You see that small building with the 5 smokestacks? Well, those smokestacks are in reality smokestacks. The cannons are on the other side of the island, disguised as trees. Whoops, there they go.
Oh, boy, Boris, those things make loud booms.
You think this loud? Wait till world gets ransom note. Then you hear noise. I'm going to say, world, Boris will blow you up unless you give to me moose named Bullwinkle and squirrel named Rocky.
For why you let those two bug you?
Because, Natasha, I promised someone I rid hemisphere of all goodies.
Who you promise?
Me. Here, take shell and load number 1 canyon.
Yes, those two ne'er-do-wells, Boris Badenov and Natasha Fatal, were responsible for reactivating the guns of Abalone.
Who we aim for this time, darling?
Oh, we take potluck.
And the shell arched its way up into the sky, then took off on a straight line for the airplane carrying our heroes.
And that's one of the few straight lines in the show.
Will it be a direct hit? Will the real Bullwinkle stand up? Don't miss Falling Stars, or Only a Plumber Should Plummet. It's pretty hard to get peace and quiet these days, especially with the guns of Abalone spreading destruction all over the place.
Someone's got to silence those cannons.
Bullwinkle and Rocky were on their way, but it wasn't going to be easy.
Unless they send me moose and squirrel, I blow up cotton picking world.
Alas, that shell was aimed directly at our hero's aircraft.
Quick, tell the pilot to make a 90-degree turn.
Bullwinkle dashed to the pilot's compartment, but the pilot was already aware of the situation and had parachuted to safety.
What'd he say, Bullwinkle?
Not a heck of a lot.
Well, if he doesn't make a turn, we're going to get blown up.
Prophetic words. Seconds later, all that remained was a black cloud. But when the cloud broke up, it revealed the wreckage of the plane, and the plane was sitting atop the Rock of Gibraltar.
It must have hit us just as we landed. We sure are lucky.
Some of us are, anyway.
Bullwinkle, you're hurt.
Oh, it's nothing, Rock. Few third-degree burns.
The smoldering moose was in need of medical attention, and the only place to get it on Gibraltar was the British Army Hospital. Britons, however, were notoriously healthy on the island, and the hospital had been converted into a billiard parlor.
Looks like they're busy operating.
Pardon us, gentlemen, but is there a...
Hush! Can't you see I'm in the midst of a devilishly ticklish shot?
Oh, shoot, Carruthers, you're beaten and you know it.
Not if I make this shot, I'm not.
Why don't you try putting a little English on the ball, seeing as how you're British and all that?
Exasperated, General Carruthers looked up just as he shot and neatly stuck his cue through the table.
Nice try.
Good Lord, that's torn it.
You've made me ruin this table, my favorite snooker table, and you've caused me to decimate it.
Well, couldn't you play miniature golf on it or something?
Guards, place these two under arrest.
But you don't understand, sir. I'm burned.
And you think I'm not?
The boys were unceremoniously dumped into a cell.
Oh, fine. Now how do we get to Abalone from here?
In 2 words, escape.
The walls are 2 feet thick. There aren't any windows, and the only door is airtight.
Well built, isn't it?
Seems to be some writing on the floor. Wait till I blow the dust off. Can you read what it says?
Not too well, no.
Monte Cristo was here. Hey, do you know what that means?
Yeah, some guy was in here making sandwiches.
No, the Count of Monte Cristo must have been imprisoned in this cell, and he got out. Said so in the book.
How long did it take him?
About 200 pages.
Well, we better hurry. I think we're on our last chapter.
Working feverishly, Rocky and Bullwinkle dug with their hands, attempting to discover a secret passage. Their efforts were soon rewarded.
That stone swings out.
Leave us swing out, too.
Into a passage they went, but due to the darkness, there was no way of knowing where it led.
Hey, I feel cool air blowing on me. You know what that means?
It means I'm breathing down your neck.
No, it means that we're approaching the entrance to this tunnel.
Oh, shucks. I was hoping it'd be an exit.
Bullwinkle, I think we're outside.
Well, strike a match for freedom, Rock.
And just like that, they were bathed in light.
Those are some matches you have.
It wasn't a match, but a row of searchlights that provided the sudden illumination. And beside them stood a firing squad.
The penalty for escape is instant liquidation. Sorry. Prepare to volley, chaps.
Uh-oh. Is this to be our hero's swan song? Don't miss I'm Out of Bullets or Pour Me Another Shot. Well, our boys are having a terrible time trying to destroy the guns of Abalone. For last time, you may recall, they were forced down on the Rock of Gibraltar and thrown into prison.
In the advertising game, this would be known as hard sell.
Not only hard, but seemingly escape-proof.
That sounded like the narrator's line, Rock.
Ingenuity and the fact that they couldn't spend an entire episode within 4 walls brought about a discovery of a secret passage.
Where do you suppose it leads?
Only one way to find out.
Ask somebody.
Nope. Follow me.
And the plucky little squirrel led the way. Unfortunately, he was plucky when he should have been lucky. The secret passage brought them before a firing squad.
Article 22 of the Gibraltar Constitution stipulates that all escapees must be dealt with severely.
Oh, please, sir, don't spank us.
Bullwinkle, they're going to shoot us.
Take away our good conduct medals, but don't spank us.
Did you hear me?
Reprimand us, if you will. Call us names.
They're going to shoot us.
How about that?
Elevate your weapons, men. Ready, aim.
Just a moment, Major.
Something wrong?
I thought it was customary for the condemned to be granted a last request.
Not according to our Constitution. Look for yourself.
And there on page 846 were the words, no last request for condemned men.
How about condemned mooses and flying squirrels?
Oh, well, that was different.
Very well, you may have a last request. What is it?
Not to be shot.
The request had to be granted. Thus, Bullwinkle and Rocky were given pardons and put aboard the first boat leaving for Bayonne, New Jersey.
Is that anywhere near the island of Abalone?
It better be.
This gives us a splendid opportunity to revisit Abalone and see how things are progressing. Yes, Boris is still at it.
How long you going to keep up bombardment, Boris?
I told you until world gives to me Bullwinkle and Rocky. Keep sending message on shortwave.
I keep sending, but nobody sends back.
Try Morse code.
Samuel B. Morse?
Samuel B, LMA, I don't care.
Meanwhile, Rocky and Bullwinkle were having problems of their own.
I said let go of the wheel.
But, Captain, you just gotta make us stop at Abalone and let us off.
This is the Bayonne Express, boys. And you know what express means.
Some kind of Italian coffee, isn't it?
It was just about that time that a nasty group of clouds formed overhead.
Captain, the barometer's falling.
Well, nail it back up.
Please, sir, won't you please put us off at Abalone?
Not now, Sonny. I don't like the way my ship is behaving.
The captain had ample reason for alarm. For the storm had suddenly increased to typhoon proportions, and the tiny vessel was buffeted about on the raging seas. By now, all hands were on deck, and even our heroes were garbed in sou'westers.
I wish I had a box of soda crackers tucked under my arm. I'd feel more secure.
I'd feel more secure with a different captain. I don't like the way he sticks his arm out the window every time he makes a left turn.
Engine room, can you hear me?
Aye, aye, Captain.
I need more steam to ride this squall out. More steam, you hear?
But, sir, it's hotter than Florida down here already.
Well, if you're hot, open a window.
Well, you don't open a porthole during a storm without suffering the consequences. The sea came in, and the fire went out.
Well, at least it's cooler.
I think our pace is slackened.
You're right. We're not going ahead anymore.
True, because they were now going down instead. Be with us next time for Seasick Bullwinkle or How Green Was My Moose. What a fiendish way to get revenge.
I don't want revenge. I want Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Little does Boris know that Rocky and Bullwinkle have volunteered to silence the guns of Abalone. Unfortunately, they have run into a number of obstacles, among them a storm at sea, which has caused their ship to begin sinking right under their feet.
Where else?
Quick, we gotta tell the captain to abandon ship.
Well, you can look it up in the almanac. You'll see that that particular storm lasted 14 days. And when it cleared, the good ship Lollipop was no longer afloat. But one of her longboats was, crammed with passengers and crew.
Engine room, why don't you answer?
Maybe they went out to lunch.
Captain, the men from the engine room are right here in this rowboat. Your ship sank.
And it looked as if this one would too, for suddenly out of nowhere, huge shells came screaming by.
It must be the guns of Abalone.
They shouldn't let those fish have guns.
Bullwinkle, we may have a chance to carry out our mission.
Yeah.
Under Rocky's able command, the longboat pushed through the water until eventually it came to rest on the sands of the island of Abalone.
Okay, now I need an alarm clock and a few sticks of TNT.
Luckily, one of the crew members had salvaged those very items before the ship went down. It didn't take the nimble squirrel long to fashion a time bomb.
You fellers wait right here while Rock and I go blow up the cannons.
What right have you got to give orders?
It's my show.
Oh.
Through nook and crannies, over Smith and Dales, they crept and crawled, inching their way even closer to the site where the gigantic guns stood.
But Boris, darling, is getting Moose and Squirrel worth blowing up world bit by bit.
I will not dignify the question with an answer, Natasha. Load the cannon.
Bullwinkle, I think I've heard that voice before.
Wouldn't be H.V. Kaltenborn, would it?
Stand back, Natasha. I'm going to shoot all 5 cannons at once.
But Boris, honey, baby, you will blow up everything.
So what? Moose and Squirrel has not showed up. I got nothing to live for.
I beg to differ with you, but Moose and Squirrel has showed up. In fact, we've been showed up quite a few times.
Is them the blight of my life? Hand me my pistol.
No got pistol, Boris. All we got is these big cannons.
That's good enough. Help me aim.
Throw the time bomb, Bullwinkle.
What time bomb, Rock?
The one I made.
Oh, that one. Now, where'd I put that thing?
While Bullwinkle searched, the guns of Abalone were lowered into firing position.
Maybe you dropped it somewhere.
And just as Bullwinkle leaned over to look for the bomb, fire! Unfortunately for Boris, he had aimed all 5 cannons right at each other. The guns were completely destroyed. Boris and Natasha were transported to the proper authorities and received severe reprimands for their behavior. Also 20 years each. As for Bullwinkle and Rocky, exhausted after their trying ordeal, they returned home and immediately went to bed.
Oh, boy, I could sleep for a week.
Me too.
Say, did you ever find the time bomb?
What time bomb?
never mind. Set the clock for 7 tomorrow morning.
I already did.
Fellas, I think it's only fair to warn you that the time bomb is on the table ticking away.
Doesn't matter.
Well, why not?
That clock always runs slow.
Well, yes, but oh, never mind. Be with us again next time for a different adventure. Maybe with 2 different stars. Run slow.
This episode is over, but the very best of my collection is banned on YouTube. To see what you have been missing, go to archive.org and search for Gyro Screwloose, and I'll see you there.